how I'll indicate the timing is with a background change. So if that's something you want to make sure that my picture is up on the upper part of your Zoom screen, that might be easier for you when you're speaking. Um, the main speaker, which is Art, is it 5 to 7 minutes, Art? So at 5 minutes, I'll give Art the green. That gives him a chance to know that he's developed his information well enough to hit the minimum amount for a prepared speech. When he gets to be 6 minutes for Art, I'll give him a yellow. And then finally, if his speech ends to be more than 7 minutes, I'll give him the red. For table topics, I'll do the same thing for you too. So we ask you to speak at least for a minute when you're responding to a table topic, and that would be a green. So you'll know that you've got enough content to finish your table topic. If you're still going, that's okay. I'll click along for yellow at 1.5 minutes, and at red for 2 minutes, you'll know it's time to start wrapping up your topic. Evaluator is myself, and you won't see the colors for me, but I'll keep an eye out for it. I'll still be adhering to the blue, yellow, and red. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lisa. Bob is going to be our grammarian tonight. Would you explain your role, please, Bob?
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and new honored guests, and as well as those on TV land. This evening, my role is to be the grammarian, and I'm kind of on the fly today. So simply being is that I'll pay close attention to all the speakers. I'll listen carefully to any language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as outstanding words, quotes, sayings, and thoughts. As a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And I sent that out into a chat to everyone. The word of the day is quell. And it simply is to put an end to a rebellion or disorder, typically by force. In a sentence I've sent out there, my mom sent my dad into the bedroom to quell us boys from fighting. And I will listen for that word of the day, and whenever choose, you'll get a shiny star, and life will be good. And at the end of the meeting, I'll give my report. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Bob. Our counter tonight is me. The purpose of the odd counter during the meeting is to keep track of filler words. When we're speaking, we often will put in a crutch word like well, so, like, you know, repeats. Fillers that we should be avoiding. We should just have a pause or just leave the filler out entirely. As you begin to listen for these, you'll hear them more and more. Anybody who's listened to speeches on the radio and has been a Toastmaster will cringe quite a bit from the general usage. I'll keep track of all those things, and then I'll give a report at the end. Our other role players tonight will be General Evaluator Jean Symington Craig. We'll hear from her later. Greeter Joke Master Bob Fogel. We'll hear from him in that role later. And now it's time for us to move into the section of the meeting for the prepared speech. Art is going to be giving a project tonight. His evaluator is going to be Lisa. I'm going to ask Lisa to read the objectives of the project, so we'll be aware of that as Art speaks. And then you can turn it back to me and I'll give a short introduction before Art begins. Let's welcome Lisa again.
I don't have the speech evaluation form in front of me. I'm actually frantically looking for that right now. I don't know if you've got it handy. I'm sure I can find pathways eventually here, but I'm just clicking around. Try not to be too obvious.
Let me give a little introduction to Art.
Okay.
And then if you happen to have it before he's ready to speak, we could let you read that. Art Atkinson has been a member of Golden Speakers for about 15 years. I think that's correct. He's a longtime resident of Fairfield, is married to a wonderful woman, Sue Gale, several of us know. And Art is one of the most enthusiastic members of Golden Speakers. We're looking forward to hearing him tonight speak in his level 3 project, which is using presentation software. Do we know at this point, Art, have we figured out the sharing of the screen?
I believe so.
Why don't you try to share a screen right now and let's get that out of the way and see if I have to grant you permission.
Okay.
Under my sharing, it says one participant can share at a time. I don't think I have to do anything else to let you share. Yeah, that works. Okay.
And Mr. Toastmaster, I do have the evaluation information up right now
good.
if you want me to
I
read
was
it.
just trying to get there.
Yes, good. Would you like Art to unshare his screen for just a second? And
That's not necessary. I can just go ahead and read it while the
okay,
the
we can
screen's
see
sharing.
you in a little window up there. So
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. So Art is to deliver a speech that's well organized on any topic. The topic should lend itself well to using presentation software. Or to watch out for clear, legible, and effective slides that enhance the speech and the topic. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style of the member's choosing. The speech should not be a report on the content of using presentation software project. The purpose of the speech is for the member or to demonstrate his or her understanding of how to use presentation software, including the creation of slides and incorporating technology into a speech. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lisa. And let's hear now from Art Atkinson.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. May I see from a show of hands who among you has heard the phrase, the Great Reset, or knows what it's all about? It's really unlikely unless you read the financial press. My job this evening is to alert you to what is coming down the pike and allow you to prepare. Imagine this. One summer morning this summer or next year or the year after, you wake up and as your custom, you turn on the news to check the news and the weather, and you're startled to hear that the president is just beginning a press conference. And he says, "My fellow Americans, we are doing something very positive now. Today, we are beginning to move the US dollar into the 21st century. Beginning this coming Monday, we will retire all United States coinage and paper US dollars, and in their place, everyone will use a new type of credit debit card that is hooked up to a new personal account at the United States Treasury. Your card will work anywhere that US dollars are acceptable now without any fees or interest. And just in case you're worried, cards are already in the mail to everyone who has filed a tax return in the past 2 years. Your card will come preloaded with $300 that will expire in 30 days. 6 months from now, cash will cease to be legal tender. So do not delay in converting your cash into digital dollars. Any bank will assist you in securing your US Treasury card and account. Further, I have instructed the IRS to harmonize tax regulations with those of our allies and trading partners in preparation for global uniform taxation. I have also instructed the Secretary of the Treasury and Federal Reserve Chairman to begin harmonizing financial regulations with our allies in preparation for transition away from global reserve currency dominated in dollars to a new global reserve currency managed by the IMF. Why are we doing this? It's because the experts recommend it. We can eliminate transmission of COVID-19 virus entirely by just ceasing to have paper cash handling. We will improve global trade, ease diplomatic relations, and reduce income inequality. Now I will turn the lectern over to my Secretary of the Treasury to tell you more about the mechanics of how this transition will take place. That is the end of your listening to the press conference. The real reasons for doing this that are acknowledged in the discussions that are published in financial technical journals are that the United States is in a sovereign debt crisis. 130% debt to GDP ratio right now puts us in a category with Italy and Greece and Spain and Cyprus. The United States dollar is no longer a solid store of value that can serve as an anchor to the global financial system, and central banks around the world are out of ammunition, including the United States Federal Reserve System. The unstated real reasons for implementing changes like the ones described in the press conference are to facilitate control of our financial behavior by elites and enable very extreme level of surveillance. This isn't the first time that the world's global reserve currency has changed, and they usually last about 60 to 90, maybe 100 years. And the United States dollar is now clocking in at about 101 years. Who are the global financial elite? Finance ministers, foreign ministers, these people share a vision of technocratic global management. Your preparation for this great reset ought to include securing things that are not measured in dollars, whose value is not dependent on the strength of the dollar. These are some of the things that you'd want to think about. Cash, land, fine art, precious metals are the recipe that wealthy families that have preserved their wealth through decades, centuries, they adopt a philosophy of precious metals, land, and fine art. You would also want to think about learning how to garden in your backyard and grow good, nourishing food and keeping a stash of food and water. There will be exciting times when the Great Reset happens on your watch. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Toastmasters.
Thank you, Art. Let's go ahead and take 2 minutes. Madam Timer, if you would time us for 2 minutes. We're going to send feedback to Art. Let's send a private chat to Art with your feedback and suggestions for his talk tonight. And Lisa, if you'll time us for 2 minutes on that. Thanks. Let's go ahead and send Art whatever you've got so far. You could promise to send him more later. At this point, Lisa, we will ask you to do the evaluation, or we will give you some more time and move on to table topics if you'd prefer to work on your evaluation a bit more. What would you like to do?
What do you typically do? Do you do the evaluation?
Most often we go on to table topics, and then after that's over, then table topics evaluator and speech evaluator will do their thing.
It's just
Okay.
because it's so quick after, it's not like we have multiple speakers and then you have time.
Okay. Yeah, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay,
To wait.
so I will go ahead and introduce our table topics master for the evening. That's Jean Symington Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. And it looks like we're recording, so we have viewers at home as well. For those of you that don't know, when we have a speech, we do often just record it and we put it out on the Fairfield Public Access channel. We have fans. Yay! We have fans that look forward because they say, if they can do it, I could do it. And it's like, so, and it also, the main reason is so our speaker can actually see what they look like, because we know a picture is worth 1,000 words and you can just see it. So we're all just real easy about it. But that's, that's a thing. So, all right, moving on to table topics here. The theme is empathy. And how much time do we have, Mr. Toastmaster?
Let's see.
Keeping in mind that we're going to do the evaluation.
That's right. So we've got at least 16 minutes. So we could do
That's a lot. Well, we want to have
4
Lisa
or
talk
5.
too. I want to have Lisa talk too at the end.
Okay, so maybe we better keep it to 14 or 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, I might even give her more time than that.
Okay.
Being
You're
a fan of
selfless.
Lisa and all, I
You're
know.
selfless.
All right, so our theme tonight is empathy. And I have some questions. And I'm ready for some volunteers. And Lisa is timing. Lisa's going to time too. Okay, I'm going to presume she can do that while she's evaluating. Okay. She's a pro.
I can volunteer first.
She's going to volunteer on top of that. Okay. Not enough things going on for Lisa. Yeah. Okay, Lisa. 1 through 4.
4.
Okay. It's been said that empathy has declined in our polarized country. What suggestions would you give for restoring it?
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters. So the word is out that empathy has declined over the years. Unfortunately, I have seen that happen. To me, I feel like it's happened more during COVID than before. Maybe I'm just an optimist and I just looked for the best in people, but I've definitely witnessed it myself over the last 12 months. I really think a lot of it is isolation and not being able to see people in person. It's so much easier to say harsh words and things that you really wouldn't say in person in an electronic device or through even Zoom. I've seen people get testy with each other when normally, like face to face, they don't get that crazy. Unfortunately, I think we have to combat that. We have to be conscious of that happening. If you see that happening in other people, find a gentle way of refocusing them on the issue instead of getting personal with people. And I've seen that happen too, where the shock of someone bringing them back to focus is enough to jar them out of that controversy or the conflict that's going on. And then if you literally point that out to them too, that you want to see empathy, a lot of people want to see that too. They want to see peace. And that's a great way of doing it, is just to be honest with people. It takes some guts to do that. Sometimes you get rejected for doing that, but it's the right thing to do. And I believe overall that we will return to empathy. There will be like a big backlash of people tired of that kind of hostile situation. And this will also help prevent quells where people have to physically get involved in it. So overall, again, I know this is hard. This is a hard time, but we can get through it together. Back to you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Very good. Okay. Next, and you're back on timing, Lisa. And Bob, are you evaluating? You're on mute. You're on mute.
No, I am not evaluating. She was timer, so I just fill it in.
Right. Well,
That's-
okay. This is one of those multitask moments.
I can do a,
So
Well,
can you now evaluate? Because that's the job you have tonight.
oh.
Okay. Yeah, the timer, you were the timer, and then Lisa took it off of your plate. So now you can really sink into evaluation,
Oh, okay.
which I know you love.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, good. Good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
Funny woman. Yes. Yes.
I'm always sincere. You know that.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right. I didn't take any notes, but I will give her a shot.
That's all right. Lisa knows. Anyway, we'll work it out. I'm kind of looking at one of our newer members who either I'm calling you members already. Look at that. I am sliding in, to home plate, I guess.
I'll give it a shot.
Good. Okay. Very good. Very good. I know it's you have to do the week. It's a weekly workout. That's what it is. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You may only be able to do the 2.5 pounder, but that's where you start. So, okay. 1 through 4.
3.
Okay. And nobody blinked that Lisa picked 4 and there was still a 4 there. So guess what? They multiplied. Okay. So 3.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a thinking one. What is a reason that people use to decline to put forth effort to gain empathy? And how would you counter that reason or address that objective? You want me to read that again?
That's a long one. Yes, please.
Okay. I think I'll break it into 2 sentences.
Okay.
We always encourage sentences with periods. What is a reason that people use to decline to put forth effort to gain empathy? How would you counter that excuse or address that excuse? You have up to 30 seconds. Think.
Can you say the second part again?
Yeah, it's almost like you're selling, someone's trying to sell you something. You put forth an objection, like this is an objection. And then the salesperson says, oh, well, and then addresses the objection. So your objection is answered or is addressed. So what's the reason that people use to avoid putting the effort out to gain empathy? You just avoid it. Why bother? And then how would you counter that reason? Or how would you address that objective? Help them get over that.
Mhm. So, fellow Toastmasters and other guests, I suppose. I can think of a person that is in my life that would say that they are empathetic, but I think that they are more aggressive in the way that they interact with people than they are empathetic. They don't put themselves in other people's shoes because I think they feel that the world owes them something or that they are a victim of the world. And so I think that their reasoning is that the world has done them a lot of harm and no one ever gave them empathy, so why should they learn to be empathetic? And as someone who values empathy and can't remember a time when they weren't feeling empathy for others, I would tell that person, as I've probably told them many times before, that if you think of everyone being a combatant and you don't think about people as being like little children and you don't think of them as being someone that may need your help, then that perpetuates a cycle of people not having empathy, and it perpetuates a cycle of evil. And deep down, I know that this person that I'm thinking of is not evil. And I think that if I could come up with a good enough argument, as I think I've probably failed to do so just now, then perhaps they would reconsider their position. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, next.
I can go next.
Okay, Alex is up. Let's see, what do we have here? 1, 2, or 5?
Let's do 1.
Okay. Our theme recently was the power of listening. Tell us about a time in your life when you gained empathy by carefully listening to the speaker. What happened?
Madam, hello, Madam Table Topics Master. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. So the question was to give so one of the topics that we had recently was the power of listening. And what would be one experience I had from listening to someone that allowed me to have this or to feel empathy. And what comes to my mind is when I did a course in mindfulness. It was a mindfulness for stress reduction. And one of the activities that we had was to sit in with another person, and we had to actively listen to that person, which means that it wasn't a dialogue. It was the person had a time to talk about anything that came to the person's mind. And all I could do is just to sit there and listen. I couldn't even nod my head or anything, just listen. That was one of the most amazing exercises that I was able to experience, because first, I was totally listening to that person. I was not even moving my body. Normally we would do gestures and things with our head or show that we were listening to the person. I wasn't doing anything, so I was just paying attention. And that person went deep into her recent experience. She had one of her cats were sick, so she was telling me about her experience taking the cat to the vet, and how she was feeling, how anxious she was, trying to find a diagnosis for what the cat was feeling. So that experience created in me a sense of empathy, because I really felt her pain and what she was going through. So I could really relate to her, because I'm also, I had a dog at the time, and then that made me really put myself in her shoes, so I could really feel what she was feeling at the moment. Thank you. Back to you, Madam.
Are we doing Mr. Toastmaster?
I think that's time.
Okay. Well, very good. Madam Timer, which of our table topics speakers qualified? And
Let me take a look. I didn't record my own timing. I don't, Bob, can you tell
Bob,
me?
did she qualify?
Qualified.
Okay.
Okay. Myself and Alex qualified.
And Alex qualified. Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah. Okay, so those are the people you can send a private vote to Dan. And
We send our votes to the Toastmaster, so just send a private
Right.
chat to me. It
Right.
might be helpful to say, to lead it with TT and then the
yeah,
name.
that's good. That's good. Because some of us are older than others and we can't remember what we're voting on. No, I'm just kidding.
Some of us are older. We won't say
Some of
who.
us are older, yeah. Okay.
I'm going to turn the meeting over to our general evaluator, Jean, to conduct the evaluation portion of the meeting and the reports at the end.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. All right, we'll go ahead and have our speech evaluator for the evening. I know you've been waiting. I know you're kind of anxious to hear from that evaluator. So I want to quell that anxiety and let's all settle back because we are in the hands of a very long time evaluator and Toastmaster. So please help me warmly welcome Lisa as she evaluates arts using visual presentation skills or masteries. Is that right? Software, presentation software. Yay! Yay!
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially Art. Art, wow, you pulled together a lot of research for this speech. I was so impressed. I liked, first of all, the organization you had. You had two specific parts to this speech. One was the press conference, and one, in my opinion, is an analysis of that information. My heart is still racing a little bit after all of that doom and gloom. Wow. The information came at me with a bullet. And I got the feeling that you were wanting to press us with some urgency with this message. The amount of data you had for the press conference seemed made it feel like a press conference by audio, which was really helpful. There was a lot of well thought out information, particularly about cards, $300 free money, which is good, and grandfather clause, 6 months. It was a little bit heart stopping to hear that it's happening this coming Monday, which is a fairly huge change. And if I don't have the card in my hands, I think I would be running for, I don't know, shelter somewhere, because I feel like there'd be a huge panic. One thing that I would like to see you change about the press conference, it would really be great if I could see your face in a split screen with perhaps some kind of a slide beyond the lead and name of the, because I throughout the press release, your slide was static at your topic title. And even if you said the word press conference or had some kind of splashy screen that looked newsy kind of, that would look really great compared to your face telling us about how urgent this is. And this is something that you need to hear. This is press conference, but professional, however you want to do it. But I think that would have been added a little bit more of a eye-catching start to your speech. Moving on to the analysis and the information part, the slides were more varied there, which was helpful. There was a graphic slide right after the title when you said that you were moving into analyze the press conference, and I didn't catch the information. It went really fast. Now I was sad about that because it looked like there was some good information there with like the icons and a linear graph that might have helped add to some more information about the press conference itself. And another thing that I would suggest is be careful about when you move from slide to slide that you're constantly, you know, the direction your slides are going, because I saw the slides go back and then forward. So maybe just a little bit more of a practice with your audio during the slides might have helped that just a little bit. Overall, I thought that the information, it was a universal topic. It was a great thing for us to listen to. Everyone knows everything about money because it's how we live. So it was a great topic to get our attention right away. And I appreciate the information. I would love to see you give that again and to see your face line up with the slides, just to give us a little more of your speaking style during the actual presentation of the slides. Great job. I'd love to hear you again. Art, back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
If I could, I'd like to put people's mind at ease and just emphasize that all those details, while those are all being discussed in principle, the details were just my creation.
Okay. I'm having, okay, good. Just a quick note here in terms of qualifications. I got a question, what does that mean? Basically, when we're listening to speeches, whether they're table topics or prepared speeches or evaluations, it's not just the content and what you're producing in that quality, but also are you producing it in the time frame that you have? And that's why we have timers who are giving you the cues on green, yellow, red. So you could give an absolutely brilliant table topic, and if you're 5 seconds over the 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that 2 minutes, the red card comes on, and then at 30 seconds after that, you have the hook. So that's the thing you want to make sure. So you want to get used to being able to not only give your content, but stay within the time frame. So that's another type of muscle. Okay. All right, very good. All right, let's go ahead and have our, now Bob, I feel like we just threw so many balls at you. You know, it's one of those, it was that game, you know, you played in elementary school, it was a bombardment and everybody's throwing balls at you and you're, ah!
Kill the guy with the ball.
Yeah. Were you able to get some table topics evaluation in there once we sorted that out?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and welcome Bob as our table topics evaluator. Bob, we had how many people? We had Lisa, we didn't quite do, but brilliant as always. And then did we have 3 after that? We had Donna and Alex, and was that it? We only had 3?
Yeah, just the 3.
Okay. So it sounds like you maybe have 2 evaluations.
Yes.
Okay, so that's easily done in the standard 2 to 3 minutes, and
Okay.
we'll go ahead and let you do that. Okay.
All right. Well, welcome, Toastmasters. My role as the evaluator. Lisa, all I can say was when I first listened to your speech, I was kind of by memory as I was trying to take notes with Lana. Other than that, you know, you greeted the audience well, which was good. You had a smooth thing. You answered Jean's question when she asked the question. You know, those basic things. Beyond that, that's all I had. Oh, also, you did. I'll move on. Not to that report yet. And then Alex, she greeted. She took time to think it through, which was good. And she stated back the question. She also shared an activity, which was amazing because she's exercising those muscles, which I feel in her mind where you have to listen, as we've kind of been discussing on our topics. And she shared of a time when through that experience was a woman that would have her cat because she had a dog, and she really empathy for what was going on in that situation. My suggestion is, I really don't have a suggestion. So,
Okay.
anyways, and then Donna, she also greeted everyone. And what I thought when the question was asked, I realized there was kind of a little mix up going there, but you still answered it good, and you caught right on. When you spoke for the content part, you immediately kind of came to a story that you did not, this person that you were talking about did not show the empathy, but on the quite the opposite, that they were kind of, how did you put it, you thought that they thought they were very combative. And as a person, as you shared that you value empathy, it really stuck out in your mind, and you could tell that, that it upset you and that you didn't like it. My suggestion is I realize that if you could just think it through a little bit better, because you kind of lost me just a little bit through the story. It was kind of jump around. And then one at the end of your speech, if you could just kind of wrap it up and say, hey, I wish it would have, I got through to this person, or I did not get through to this person. Just kind of cap it off how it ended would be nice. All in all, it was really good.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So we have our evaluation. Now let's go ahead and get our role players accomplished. Did I see Dan raise his hand?
Shall we vote for evaluator?
Yes, that is a very good idea. Let's see. Madam Timer, who qualified with evaluations? Lisa did qualify, so we have our other evaluator. Did our other evaluator qualify as well? Table topics evaluator?
Yes, Bob qualified.
Okay, great. So we have Lisa and Bob. And when Lisa confirmed, our timer confirmed and says that Lisa and Bob qualified, it means they came in before the 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Evaluators go 2 to 3 minutes generally. Table topics are 1 to 2 minutes. Evaluators are 2 to 3 minutes. And then you have 30 seconds to finish up. So that means our evaluators did come in at or before 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, a lot of talk there, but just want to make sure everybody's clear. So go ahead and send Dan, married to Dan, yes, to send Dan your vote for best evaluator. And put an E, nice big E in front of it, so we don't get confused as to what you're voting for. And while we're doing that, we'll go back and we'll start our rolls. And we have too many windows open. Let's start with our timer, who is kind of a quasi team tonight, but let's start with Lisa and have Lisa give her timer's report.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. The speech time for arts was 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Mine was 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yes.
Table topics for Donna was 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
Oh.
And Alex was 2 minutes and 23 seconds. For Bob's evaluation, that was 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And looks like mine was 2 minutes and 20 seconds, if I'm reading it right.
I got 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Bob
Okay,
texted or chatted it to me.
thank you, thank you. That's it for the timer report.
Great, thank you. Now we'll move on to the grammarian, who will restore our confidence and quell our fears on our use of the English language.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes.
So this evening, the word quell was used twice by Jean and as well as Lisa. Way to go.
Mhm.
So, and then as far as interesting phrases, when Donna, I think I mentioned in my evaluation, I like that she had the phrase, think of everyone as combative. She was stating a thing. Also, she mentioned there perpetuates. I like that word. It was an interesting phrase. And then I believe that was it.
Okay, good. Very good. Very good. Now we'll hear from our counter, Dan Craig.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters. Tonight's meeting was brought to you by I believe that everybody that spoke said at least once. Quite an amazing coincidence. I didn't notice myself saying but I can't track myself. Lisa had 4 a so, an and 2 false starts. Bob had 5 3 ums, and a so. Art had an Jean had 4 3 so's,
Ooh.
and a repeat. Donna had 3 2 ands, and a repeat. Alex had 5 5 ands, and 1 and Very creative. That's my report.
Hybrid.
Yes. All right. And then we will have, oh, yes. Woo, some fun. Our greeter and our joke master for tonight, Bob Fogel. Bob, are you ready to tickle the ribs here?
Damn.
All right. Woo!
There we go. So this newly married husband, he put a sign up for sale in his front yard, and it simply read, for sale. Computer and encyclopedia, both in good condition. His reasoning for selling, he no longer needed it. Why? Because he got married, and everyone knows that his wife knows everything, and the backup server was called his mother-in-law.
What's the joke?
What's the joke?
Just sounds like information.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I got a few more. If you want to bear
1
with-
minute. You get 1 minute, Bob.
Yeah, I'll go.
One
talk.
more. If you can do one more.
Okay.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Why don't cats like online shopping? They prefer a catalog.
Oh.
Aw.
Arr. Get Alex. She's got tears in her eyes. Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bob. That was good. Very good. You could try to be a little funnier next time. I mean, information's always good. Information's always good. Humor, though, is something you might want to work on a little bit.
I know it's a weak point.
All right. I'm going to go quickly here. I was a general evaluator. I was slightly distracted. That's, I'm making an excuse, and that's not good. I did listen to Lisa, and while I was being distracted, and she sounded like she had some very good, very just visual presentations on how to organize around Zoom and when you're giving a presentation. And it made sense that because she was talking about that the project was using presentation software. So here we are using software, and Art's using software within software almost. I liked that she related that it was a great topic that everyone could be basically interested in because we all have financial situations. And so that was important because that showed what's in it for me, for each audience member. And I also liked that she gave suggestions, specific suggestions, and having to do with, you know, the directions of the slides. I did notice that. It seemed like we went back and forth several times trying to find, and then also the face lining up with just being more visible with the slides. So she gave some very good advice there. I didn't really have anything to say about Lisa for that, and I'm just really glad she was here to be able to evaluate and give that important feedback. Bob was our table topics evaluator. Honestly, it was a little bit we just threw too much at Bob tonight, I would say, and Bob valiantly tried to cover it all. I would say to Bob, our tradition here for table topics evaluation is that you remind the audience of what the question was that the person was answering, just to get just a little quick, had the question about yada, yada, yada. And then the audience goes, oh yeah, I remember that. Again, we cater to people who have short-term memory issues. Now that was funny. You guys didn't laugh. That was funny. All right.
Showing
So
empathy.
he did. Pardon?
I was showing empathy.
Oh, okay. Yes. Perfect. Word of the night, used in a perfectly wonderful way. Very good. He did mention that Lisa answered the question. We do like to have that. That we usually give a little extra bonus points as opposed to segueing. I believe Lisa was the one where he said that repeated the question. Now, just to be clear, it's not a requirement to repeat the question at the beginning. In fact, you may not want to because it does take up your time. So if it helps you think a little bit, that's fine. But once you start talking, the clock is ticking. So the audience did hear the question, just to say that it's not a requirement. Okay, so you don't get bonus points for stating the question, but you can if you want. This clock is ticking. Alex, the main thing for Alex, I would say, was that he's always positive and he gives very nice feedback on what he heard and how it made him feel like that. I would just say that he didn't give a suggestion to Alex for improvement. So that would be something that we want to do. We always try to find a relevant suggestion. And again, it's just your opinion, but it's a relevant suggestion. And Donna, he did give a suggestion. He was warming up, I think. He suggested that she think it through a little bit more. Now, I always am an advocate of short, hittable questions. And that was me probably getting outside of my bounds on that one. So I apologize for that. But she did a great job. He was just recommending that she think it through a little bit more in those 30 seconds. Is that you're entitled to do that and just be thinking, okay, where am I going to go with this? Rough outlines. Here we go before hitting it. So that was good. So I've already given my suggestions for Bob. Repeat the question or just remind the audience what the question is. And that was a big one. And just we'll try not to throw so much at you the next time. Thank you for that. With that, I'm gonna hand back off to our Toastmaster. Everyone did a great job in their roles tonight. And back to you, Dan Craig, Toastmaster. Woo!
Thank you, Jean. Do you have the ribbons ready?
I can, and then we're gonna.
We had two
Lisa.
contests tonight, table topics and evaluator. First evaluator, a little drum roll, please. Lisa, best evaluator.
Yay! Okay.
And table topics. Alex.
Okay. Okay,
Back to you, Madam
no,
President.
we had another
Substitute.
we had another category tonight.
Did you say Art went over time?
Well,
No.
they send me a timing at
He
7
was-
minutes 32 seconds.
Was it 32? I thought I heard 30.
I just said 30 just because I thought maybe I could be off by 2 seconds on my timing device.
Okay.
Okay.
Close.
Best speaker. Art.
Art.
And
Woo!
there
Best
I
speaker.
my
Okay.
habit of going over time.
Yeah, Art has gotten so much better at that, really. So that's very good. All right, so thank you. Were you handing back to me, Dan?
I was.
Okay,
What is your title? President
I'm-
Pro Tem?
I'm the
That's
acting,
officer.
I'm the
Acting
I don't know,
president.
I'm the acting, what is it?
You're the
Lisa, what is it? I'm presiding. I'm the presiding
Yes.
officer tonight.
You are she who is in charge. I know that much.
Mhm.
Always, Dan. Okay, that was a little inside joke. All right, I'm going to now toss off to our wonderful area director, Lisa Purcells, who can say whatever she wants to say. Lisa, just tell us what you think we need to do or hear.
All right. Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer and fellow Toastmasters and soon to be members. I just chatted with everyone a website called district19.me. And for anyone that's not familiar with that website, I would encourage you to go there. And in particular, if you click on calendar and for the month of April, you're going to see a lot of amazing opportunities there for free things to do online. In case you didn't get enough tonight, because I think it's so much fun to see all of the Toastmasters and get all the different fun stories, you're going to get to see people from other clubs across Iowa in different calendar events throughout April. We have 4 different division speech contests going on. Those winners will advance on to our state District 19 contest, which is in April, at the end of April, also found in that same calendar at district19.me. All of these things are available by just clicking on the event and then looking for the Zoom and using that at the time that's posted in the calendar. Just totally, and Art may attest to that too, because Art was generous with his time this past weekend and judged the area 81, 82. Actually, it was 82, 83, 84 contests. Thank you, Art, so much for doing that.
Woo, Art.
Wasn't that fun, Art, hearing all those different stories?
It was. And it
speech
was certainly an education to see how the Zoom platform supports it with
Yes.
breakthroughs and so on.
Yes, that's actually a really great thing too. Just to, if you get involved in any of the roles for the speech contests, you're going to get an inside view of how powerful Zoom can be, and perhaps give yourself a leg up at work for any Zoom opportunities that you have. You're going to get more experience doing that with all of our district speech contests. But again, district19.me, go there, please, and check it out. Not only do you have speech contests, but as you advance in the club setting here, you can also take this special COVID time period to check out some of the advanced clubs as well. And you can just sit in and listen if you'd like. There's a lot of great speaking and evaluating that happen at those advanced clubs as well. You can just go as a visitor and not have to sign up for anything. Again, look in the calendar, district19.me. And I also want to just mention, I'm here today not only to support you guys, but also to be a support in the future. I know that the club is going through a lot of transition right now, and just know that you're not out there by yourself trying to figure it out. You've got a lot of people that care about making sure that you guys have that opportunity to grow as a club, and I want to be there to help you. I'm going to give in a report to your officers today to tell you to check in and let them know things that they're doing well and things that they can improve on. that may sound familiar because that's exactly what you guys do during a club. We do that as clubs to support each other as well, just to kind of give each other feedback and continually grow. So if this is something that you're launching into in April, I'm so excited to see you and to meet you today and to offer my support any way that you see fit. Back to you, Madam Presiding Officer.
Madam Presiding Officer. Well, thank you, Lisa. It's always a pleasure. I would like to talk to you a little bit more about that support piece. Just we can pull that together. I will mention that if there's anybody who's would be considered an expert on pathways at this point in the district, it's Lisa. She's given district-wide trainings, and she walks her talk because she's very focused on making progress in her own stuff, has things, her projects mapped out in advance, is planning what she's doing for what, for when, and she's really a inspiration and also a good resource for us. And so I'm hoping to have her loop in a little bit, particularly with our new members here, to get just a really great start. Meeting is adjourned.